Have you ever wondered why procrastination is so hard for you to beat? Well, I beat procrastination after months and found a three-part method that makes beating procrastination easy and reliable. Right? 99% of people don't even understand what procrastination is, so they never come at it and approach it from the right angle. Right? But this method will have you breaking your procrastination habit once and for all, quickly and easily, if you just follow along and use all three parts together. Right? My name's Andrew, and I help young, ambitious, driven men turn themselves into hardworking and elitely focused individuals through this channel and through my coaching. Like and subscribe if you're into that content. Now, before I discovered this method for myself, I was barely willing to do a 20-minute assignment for school, right? But after applying this method, after months of searching for it, I now work multiple hours each day on top of university work during school and still have time to do things in my day that I enjoy. Right? So if you use this method, you can do all the work that you need to do and still have time to do the things you enjoy in your day. When you procrastinate, how often is it that you do it because you don't want to do whatever task it is that you're avoiding? Right? How often is that the reason? Just simply because you don't want to do it. I know for me personally that this was the case almost 100% of the time. And it left me wondering why that is, right? Why is it that procrastination happens so much for things that I just don't feel like doing, even if doing it is beneficial and I know that it's going to help me? That's when I started searching and I finally figured it out, right? I was going about procrastination all wrong, like completely, because procrastination is not the problem, right? Hear that again. Procrastination is not the problem. It's a symptom of something else and something bigger. And this is truly the first part of the method. Realize that procrastination is actually a symptom of a lack of discipline. And in this case, right, discipline is specifically doing something that you don't want to do, right? It's not something that might be hard, but that you enjoy doing. Like it, after a while, if you like working out, right, it's not discipline anymore. It's just something that you like to do and something that you're consistent with. But discipline is specifically doing things that you don't want to do, right? And when you realize that this is the root of procrastination, the rest of the method starts to unfold from here. Now, think back to when you procrastinate and how much does the outcome of the task affect your actual willingness to go through and do it, right? How much does the reward and the outcome affect your procrastination habit? This is essentially the premise for most game shows and things like American Ninja Warrior or The Challenge, right? Whatever. It's how much are you willing to go through and how much are you willing to do to get that end result, which for a lot of TV shows is money a lot of the time. But work is different, right? Especially if it's a personal project or something that is simple like schoolwork, right? Where there's not $1 million waiting for you at the end of the road. The rewards aren't always clear in these instances with schoolwork and personal projects, right? Which makes it a lot harder to bring yourself to do the work in general, right? And in school, I was horrendous in this area, right? I did maybe 10% of the homeworks I was ever given. And that's just because it didn't affect my grades enough and I did not care enough to commit the time to get that work done. But it did affect my grades. And when I got to university or college, whatever you want to call it, I wanted to take a different approach and I cared more about my academics when I first got there. So I needed to make a change so that I could actually do the work and get the grades that I wanted at the time. And so I created a sense of reward for things like homework that I didn't really care for. And how I did this is I would give myself a challenge. So because the homework wasn't exactly hard, although right, certain assignments are outliers and you just gotta spend time and grind, but because some of the homeworks, most of them weren't really hard, I would give myself a challenge and give myself a specific time window just based on like the number of assignments to get that done. And if I could get it done in that time, it created a sense of huge reward for me because right, the work itself wasn't hard. It was just something that I didn't want to do, so I was challenging myself to get it done quickly. And it gave me an extra objective just to go ahead and start the work in the first place, right? See, can I do this in this time constraint with this limit on it? Can I get it done? This type of thing will just give you a natural, bigger reward than just doing the work in general. So the next part of this method is to simply create an extra sense of reward or challenge with your work to make it more appealing to start and rewarding to finish. Right? I find a challenge does both of these pretty well by creating that urgency to get it done and actually start, and then creating a reward by just actually completing the challenge that you set for yourself. Right? Don't create a challenge that's super easy because then it's not going to be rewarding to finish. Right? But this part of the method and the second step that's going to help you stop procrastinating is to simply create a challenge or reward at the end of the work that will help push you to start the work and finish it. Do you use discipline regularly in your day? Like, is it a staple in your day? When I first got on self-improvement, I was really just absorbing a bunch of information about all these topics that I'd never given thought to, and discipline was one of them, and one of the super popular topics that are talked about, and still are talked about today, right? And that's when I began to realize that in my life, I hardly ever used discipline day to day, right? In fact, it seemed the more I reflected on it that I actually avoided almost every instance where I could possibly use discipline. And this is where my extreme procrastination was really born from. Right. But during this time, I came across an Andrew Huberman episode where he talked about, I don't remember the specific part in our brain, but it's a tiny part in the decision-making part of our brain, like the prefrontal cortex. There's a tiny part that is dedicated to doing hard things. And whenever we do something that is either hard or that we just simply don't want to do, it doesn't even have to be hard. This part of the brain grows and it adapts, making it easier each time you grow this part of the brain to do a hard task or something that you don't want to do. Right? The brain literally is adapting itself to make it easier for you to do these things in the future. And this is where I had a light bulb moment and where you should have one too at this point, right? Because this is the third part of the method, and that is incorporating this into your daily life by actively choosing either one or two easier things that you should be doing that you're just not right now, right? Like tasks that you know you should be doing, but that you ignore. And it can be so simple as fixing your bed, or it can be just a good habit that you're not on, like meditation or going for walks, right? Whatever it is, just pick one or two super easy, not crazy time consuming activities that you're just not doing because you haven't disciplined yourself to do them, and start working them into your daily routine. This is literally going to grow that part of your brain that doesn't like doing the hard things, and that gets bigger every time you do hard things. And it's going to make all the rest of the work that you have seem much easier simply by just adding on more things in your day that you don't necessarily want to do but should do. It's going to make the rest of the shoulds easier by comparison because it's stimulating this part of the brain and causing it to grow. So the third and final part of this method is to simply pick up those one or two tasks in your day, and you can switch these out, right? Once these become part of your normal routine, because they probably will, add another one or two of the next easiest tasks that you can add into your daily routine. And this is going to grow your brain, make discipline easy, and make procrastination a thing of the past, like legitimately. This information is all super useful, but it's not complete without understanding your discipline fully. So check out this video that I made on easy ways to help become self-disciplined, to get the full picture and actually defeat procrastination and build your discipline at the same time. And check out my coaching program and community that has exclusive content. The first two links in the description if you like my content and think I'm trustworthy or helpful. Right. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you did. And as always, stay blessed.